All right. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. All right, Miss Marianne Keefe. How old are you?
I am 62
62. Wow. How long have you lived in a mountaintop for?
my whole life.
Your whole life. Holy cow. It's a long time.
Yeah. I never even went away to school.
Never. Wow. The whole time.
Yeah.
I've been in New Jersey and then I went to King's College for school, so not too far.
Yeah.
How would you describe growing up in mountaintop?
It was a great childhood and a great place to live.
Nice, excellent. What elementary school did you go to?
St. Jude's.
St. Jude's. Nice. Any no anything noteworthy about that school or no?
My grandmother was one of the founders for the school. She pushed Father Nolan and the bishops into building that school.
Oh, it's very cool. Very cool.
And her
Grow-
name was her
Oh,
name
grow,
was the Kreitzer.
okay. Wow. Very awesome. Growing up, did you have any siblings?
A brother and sister.
Nice. And how did they feel growing up in a mountaintop?
I think they both loved it because they're both living here, still living here also. All
Nice.
three of us stayed. We never moved.
That's awesome. Keeping your family very close, I can see. That's good.
hmm
What was your I guess fondest memory growing up?
Fondest memory. Probably being able to play outside like from morning till night and not having any worries or fears, like always feeling safe, knowing all your neighbors. Yeah, it was really a different thing than we have to worry about with our children now.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I agree. I feel like even me growing up, I had a nice little hill I would go sledding down whenever it'd be snowing, and just it was a very good little neighborhood, so it was nice. It was a very good community. But nowadays, it seems a lot has changed for the better or for the worse.
Yeah.
Have you seen any, I guess, major differences in your community now versus how it was back then?
Oh, Mountaintop has grown in leaps and bounds, especially after the flood. A lot of people moved up the mountain.
Oh,
They didn't want to go through the flood again. So that was early 70s. And yeah, I think that's when we have a lot of developments up here. So yeah, people just came here from all over.
yeah, it seems very. What year was the flood?
The flood was 72, I believe.
72. Holy moly. Wow. Yeah, it just seems that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, your college was all underwater.
Yeah. Even walking by the bridge, they have the floodgates and everything just open and close just in case, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just imagine if they didn't have those gates.
Yeah.
It was really unbelievable. Oh my gosh, the
Goodness.
the mud, just cleaning out the mud. Oh
Yeah. I guess you had to wear your rain boots everywhere then, huh?
yeah, I remember. Well, we always called it going downtown, and my mom worked at a store called Bergman's over in Kingston when she was younger, and then the Boston store, which is now Boscov's. They were just flooded unbelievably, and I remember we had to go for something, and there's no stores up here in Mountaintop, so we always had to go downtown. And I remember when we went to the Boston store and just seeing the mud, we just couldn't believe it because we had relatives who came up and stayed with us during the flood. But when we went down there to shop, and they said you can't go to the basement because it's still all mud. But even like the first floor, like there was just mud all over, and there we were trying to shop in amongst. Oh, it was just awful. The smell, the
Just
smell.
I can imagine just ooh, not a good experience, huh?
No.
Made it through though. That's good.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to live through it. We had relatives who stayed with us because their house was totally flooded and they had 5 little children. So I got to babysit a whole bunch of babies when I was a young I guess I was about 12.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Very, very good. Did you go to any high school or college in the area too? Which
Yes, I attended Bishop Hoban High School and rode the bus up and down the mountain every day. And then I attended LCC in Nanticoke. And then I went to King's. I took night classes at King's while I worked full time.
oh, there you go. A monarch just like me.
Yep.
That's good to hear. What was your, how would you describe, I guess, maybe your adulthood in Mountaintop and just work life, maybe?
Okay, work life. Well, I met my husband who went to Crestwood, and being the Catholic family that we were, my parents really wanted me to attend Catholic high school. So that's why I went up and down the mountain, but had a lot of friends. I mean, I always say I had the best of both worlds because I got to meet all new people downtown going to school there. And yet I still had all my friends up here from Crestwood and ended up marrying one of them. And we raised 3 wonderful daughters. And they all also went to Catholic high school and colleges. And my husband started his business here. So I guess we liked it because he started a business from the ground up, literally with his own. He bought an excavator and dug up the land and had the building built, and he's provided very well for our family. So we've and then I worked for CertainTeed, which was a Fortune 500 company. They made insulation, and then when we had children, then I stopped working there. But that was a very big company, and when they closed, a lot of people lost their jobs there. But yeah, no, Mountaintop has provided very well for us, and so we stayed.
Oh, that's good. That's great to hear. I love that. How do you think that living in Mountaintop has affected your life overall?
I think that sometimes I feel like I've lived a sheltered life because we know so many people and we have so much history here, and it's just kind of who we are. But I never did live anywhere else, so I never did get to branch out and like kind of learn about other things in the world. So sometimes I feel like I'm in a little bit of a bubble, which is a wonderful thing because it's a wonderful place to live. I love living here, and I it's a good thing, bad thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a positive to staying close and just that cozy feeling.
Yes.
Absolutely. I guess looking ahead, would there be anything you would want to change about your community or anything, I guess, like about like Mountaintop as a whole?
Well, we do have a lot of different townships, and it's sometimes hard to like all get on the same page, because each township kind of has their own little supervisor government. And I do kind of wish that we were more consolidated in that way, because it is quite a large area that we cover, quite a few townships. I think that might be a helpful thing, but for the most part, they work together pretty well. Sometimes there's issues, like now with the 4th of July parade. I know that there's 2 different groups and they each want to have their own parade and that kind of silly stuff. But I think for the most part, we're a pretty welcoming community.
It definitely seems like that, just even driving by, things like that. Just a very welcoming area for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How has COVID-19 like impacted anything? Or I guess maybe it was different everywhere else, but has anything specific impacted your community?
Hmm. Well, I guess that kind of goes back to the idea that I kind of do live in my little bubble. Like I have a wonderful home and I have wonderful property that I can take walks on. So that was my saving grace. Like, thank God I didn't have to like live in a little apartment and be closed in. Like I was able to go for walks and go in the woods and on the streets and, get outside and get fresh air. And that really was my saving grace, was being able to walk and get out amongst nature during COVID. So, I mean, that's a really one. I think I was very blessed in that respect.
Yeah, it seems really good. That's something I especially did as well. Definitely just going for walks, just enjoying the little things like that. That
Yeah.
was really, really good. All right. Final question, Miss Marianne Keefe. How would you think that the community would grow in the future? Like, what do you think would change for the better, for worse, or?
Um, well, I don't know. Never thought about that, about the future. I would hope that we would still keep our good school system. It seems like there's a lot of people who really care about that and work hard to, keep Crestwood to be a very good school district. And I hope that we're able to keep our, our St. Jude's and our Catholic high schools going, because I think it's a wonderful option, to be able to have that choice. Um, I don't know, the churches up here all seem to get along well, and our picnics are the best. St. Jude's picnic. I don't know if you've been up here to our church picnic. Of course, we didn't have it last year due to COVID, but like it's just a great time, and the whole community gets together, and it's great.
Yeah, I've heard of that. My one friend who I met here was talking about, I think that before, but
Yeah.
it just seems like such a wonderful, like tight knit community that just very is there for each other, looking out for one another, and that's what a community should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any other final little fun facts, maybe, before we wrap it up?
Okay. My grandmother, they had a farm on Church Road, and my grandmother and grandfather. And there was only one little church on the other side of the mountain. It was called Penobscot, and it was St. Catherine's, and it was a very small church. And that's where the Catholics would, all go to that church. And the land where St. Jude's Church is now, which is the second largest diocese in the Scranton Diocese, the second largest parish in the Scranton Diocese. My grandmother would be so proud. But she told the bishop that we needed a church on this side of the mountain. And the bishop had bought that land. I think it belonged to Coleman's, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to double check that. But it was a cornfield. My dad used to plow it for them when he was a kid. And the bishop was going to put King's College there.
Oh, wow.
So my grandmother said, we don't need a college here. We need a church. And the bishop came up and she said, look at all these people, all these houses along the 309, the highway. It was called the Old Hazelton Highway at the time. And she said, like, they're Catholic and we need a church here. And my grandmother lied to the bishop because some of those people were Protestants, but my grandmother told the bishop that they were all Catholic so that we could get a church on this side of the mountain. So it kind of worked out for her because she got her church. And now it's, like I said, it's the second largest diocese parish in the diocese. So something to be pretty proud of.
That is cool. That's a cool story. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I told it to one of the bishops and he didn't find it humorous. Like,
That's
he maybe shouldn't have told that story.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you. I'm very happy I was finally able to get this in.
Yes, you too, Matthew. And I hope you have fun doing this project, and I hope you
Yeah.
have a good grade.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Stay safe. All right.
Yes, you too.